ज्ञानतिग्रान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वरूपकदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् आददानशृणं दन्तरितं याचे पुनः पुनः श्रीमद्रूपपदाम्भोजधूलिस्यां जन्म जन्मनि अनर्पितचरिं चिरात् कर्ण्यावतीर्णा कलौ समर्पयितुम् उन्नतोज्ज्वलरसां च भक्तिश्रियम् हरिपुरटसुन्दरद्युति कदम्ब सन्निपिता सरार्ह कंदरे स्फुर्तुवा श्रीचिनन्दना. First of all, offer my millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmati Gurupad Padma Nityala Paresh Jagat Guru Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Trindi Swami Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj, Namnishta Santa Shri Aniruddhas Prabhuji, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis are gathered here to accept our humble obeisances. So discussing Jaiva Dharma, I think chapter 7, page 148, right? So Yadav Das,
sorry, Mark.
is it proper to...
It's page 151. Today is the 25th.
Okay, we came to
7,
151, okay.
Yes.
So page 151 we have come, and that's good. So now, the verdict of the Shastra supports the practice of offering sannyas to men who possess Brahminical symptoms, even though they are born of other caste. But it only applies to Paramarthic affairs and not to Vyavaharik affairs. Brother Chandidas, do you have the answer to your question? Today, I have been blessed. Of all the instructions that have flowed from the mouth of the most revered Babaji, Mahashay, these are the points I have been able to assimilate. The Jiva is an eternal servant of Krishna. But he forgets this and takes on a material body, influenced by the qualities of material nature. He derives happiness and distress from material objects. For the privilege of enjoying the fruits of his material activities, he must wear a garland of birth, old age, and death. Haribo. The Jiva sometimes takes birth in a high position and sometimes in a low position. He is led into innumerable circumstances by the repeated change of identity. Hunger, thirst, spur him to action in a body that may perish at any instant. He is bereft of the necessities of this world and is cast into unlimited varieties of suffering. Many diseases and ailments appear, which torment his body. In his home, he quarrels with his wife and children, and sometimes he goes to the extent of committing suicide. Now, this is a problem, so much problem in India, suicides. The newspaper is actually very depressing to read, even the newspaper. So many instances of suicides are going on. It may appear to be a valid reason, but actually it's just foolishness to commit suicide. Because suicide doesn't solve any problem, it just multiplies it. Because if you have some karma to bear, then just you simply tolerate it. If you think that this is my tattenu kampam samikshamano bhujjana evatma kritam vipakam rudvagvapuve dadam namaste jivetayo mukti padesdayavak, that I have done something wrong, so I am being punished by that. But you should think that, okay, if Krishna wants to punish me, let him punish me. If he wants to pamper me, let him pamper me. But not commit suicide. His greed to accumulate wealth drives him to commit many sins. Now talk about accumulating wealth. Like we go on Sankirtan every day, and then sometimes we come across a meat shop. Generally we ask donation from every shop. But we hesitate to ask donation from the meat shop, because we think that, how to ask donation from these selling people, butchers who are selling meat. So the devotees hesitate to ask. Even I, because the sight of the meat hanging there just is so revolting that we don't want to even stand there for a moment. We just want to escape from there. Also, from a liquor shop, we generally don't ask donation because sadhu is going to a liquor shop. It doesn't look good to ask even for a donation. Generally, we don't go and ask. So these are gross sins. There is a brothel or there is liquor being sold. There is actually meat. Meat is being sold, or non-vegetarian restaurants also. We don't ask donation. Means I don't like to ask from there because the smell there is also very revolting. Understand? So he is punished by the government. Government also punishes. Understand? If you evade tax or if you Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, you get caught in that, then government will punish you. We are insulted by others also. Living entities get insulted also. Insults are quite common actually. Even for the devotees, sometimes they get insulted because they say, "Oh, we don't want to give any donation to you. Why should we give any donation to you?" Then you have to tolerate that. We cannot convince everyone to give a donation, but you should ask because if they give some donation, then whatever they give, 1 rupee they give, 1 penny they give, that is their sukurti. That will help them advance in bhakti because they have done some service to the Vaishnavas and to Thakurji and Gurudev. Thus, he suffers untold bodily afflictions. Now, talking about bodily afflictions, so many types of diseases. Because I'm traveling always, we see that devotees suffering from so many diseases. Even people are suffering from so many diseases. If you go to a hospital, that day you'll be disturbed mentally because sight of patients there with so many types of ailments, diseases, injuries. Actually, once in South Africa, I remember with Sripad Dandi Maharaj, we went to old age home. Yamuna Didi was there, and that is also a very depressing sight. Only old people there, only 1 or 2 attendants who are young, and rest all are old. It's very depressing to go there actually. But that is life. That is part of life. We cannot avoid old age. We cannot avoid death. You cannot. This is part of life. Everyone will have to become old. Understand? So, is the reality of material world is that old age, disease, death is constantly aggrieved by separation from family members. Now, this is also very common. Like I remember my father once was transferred to a distant location, and I was very eager to see my father because I loved my father very much. And I told my sister that I want to see the father. She said, "No, he's not there now. He's gone to a distant district, and it will take him a couple weeks or months even to you will be able to see him." Then I said, "No, no, I want to see him right now." Then she said, "Okay, I will show him right now, but he'll not talk to you." Then I said, "That's okay. If he doesn't talk to me, that's okay, but let me see him anyways." Then such a smart girl she was, she showed me the picture of photograph of my father. I said, "Oh, she's cheating me." He showed me a black and white photograph of my father, but that also gave me some relief. So I know what it is to be separated from the father in childhood, because it's heartbreaking just to not be able to see your father for months and months because he's working in a remote location. So, anyways, from Gurudev also. So, remembering Gurudev also, sometimes you have a dream that you are sitting next to Gurudev and Gurudev is asking you a question, and and then you wake up. And then I said, "Wait a minute, um, has he not entered Nitya Leela?" And then it's just as if he's right there, and we are attending the festival, and then you have a dream like that, and you wake up, then you realize, oh, he has actually entered Nitya Leela. But then you don't believe it actually, because it happens so often that Gurudev comes in a dream. Understand? We see some festival going on, morning walk going on, and Gurudev. So then Gurudev told actually that I will never be away from you. I will be always there. I will always be there. I realized that actually he's always there. So many times in the dream, so many times in the, his presence is felt. His presence is felt. So loss of wealth, and then loss of wealth also is a great lamentation actually. I remember when I was NCC cadet, National Cadet Corps, some training for military education. So once I went to Shimla in Himachal Pradesh near Himalayas, and there one man was actually playing some game, and he had three coins, three round coins actually, and he said that one coin was painted red and one coin was underneath painted black. And he said, if you put your money on the red, then I will give you double the money. So I put in succession, rapid succession, 20 rupees. And then I lost that money because I had accidentally put on the black. So he cheated me actually. So I was crying that time because I had not experience of gambling. Understand? So that was my first experience with loss of money by trickery. Understand? It was really hurt me. And I was in America. There was one Dr. Shastri. He was actually lecturer in chemistry in the City University of New York. And Dr. Shankar Shastri also, he lost millions of dollars actually, 1 million or maybe 2 millions on the stock market. After that, he just purchased one farm in Pennsylvania and then he started living there. Gurudev also went to his farm. Dr. Shankar Shastri he used to come and meet Gurudev. He was actually coming to ISKCON also. So he was a smart Brahmana, but he was very so here is so he lost money actually, stock exchange. So that is quite common. Many people lose money on the IPL betting, Indian Premier League, and the betting is going on now, and so many people, devastating results of that. Theft by robbers. That is also quite often. Theft happens. Sometimes they enter, viciously, in violence, and sometimes if they spare your life, you are really. If they spare your life, you are really lucky, So theft by robbers, and countless other causes of suffering are there. So innumerable causes are there. This material world is full of so much suffering. So material world is full of suffering. When a person becomes old, his relatives do not take care of him, and this causes him great distress. This causes him great distress actually. This is the thing actually. If when a person becomes old, his relatives do not take care of him, and this causes him great distress. His withered body is ravaged by mucus, rheumatism, and a barrage of other pains. So you see in Brindavan also, so many old ladies are there. And now there are some institutions that are coming forward to provide them medication and prashadam, clothes. Many widows actually in Brindavan, many widows live there, Bengali origin. Um, so when a person becomes old, his relatives do not take care of him. This is a reality, and this causes him great distress. Now, the government of India is living fine on the persons. If you abandon your mother and father and don't take care of them, then government will cut your salary. So many teachers have been, perished like that if they abandon their mother and father. Then his withered body is ravaged by mucus, rheumatism, and a barrage of other pains, and is simply a source of misery. So body withers and mucus, kaphavata pittai. So rheumatism is also a common problem actually, joint pain and other so many pains. They are constant source of misery. Actually, there are medicines like Giloy. Actually, if you go to Ranganath Gaudiya Math, then on the fence of Ranganath Gaudiya Math, you'll see so many creepers just growing. They are actually Amrutavalli, they call it in Kannada language, Sripad Dandi Maharaj language. But in Giloy is the common name. Marathi language, my mother tongue, is called Guduchi. The leaves and um, the creeper stems and the roots, they all have medicinal property. It can take care of many diseases, fever and joint pain and so many things. Amrutavalli or Giloy. Giloy. So, but still, many diseases are there. After death, he enters another womb and suffers in an intolerable pain. Now, this is actually this is actually another problem because it's such a small space out there, and then you are sitting there in that small space. You cannot do anything about it. Your hands and legs are tied, and your mother is eating some pungent foodstuffs, and then you have to just pungent foodstuffs. Then you again have to suffer. Your skin is also burning by the pungent foodstuffs eaten by the mother. So many insects are actually nibbling your skin. Actually, it is a hellish pain. It is a hellish pain in the womb of the mother. So, yet despite all this, as long as the body remains, his discrimination is overpowered by lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. So we know so many problems are there, but our discrimination is overpowered by lust. Kamesha krodesha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma vidyanam iha vairinam. So Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that lust alone covers the consciousness. Kamesha krodesha. So Krishna is telling Kamesha krodesha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma vidyanam iha vairinam. This root cause of this is Rajogud, mode of passion. Rajogud and Tamogud. And due to the lust and anger, sometimes people are very angry. Then they are greedy also. Illusion, pride and envy. This is samsar. This samsar. I now understand the meaning of the word samsar. I repeatedly offer Dandot Pranam to Babaji Maharaj. The Vaishnavas are gurus for the entire world. So Vaishnavas are the gurus, understand. There is one Diksha Guru we have. Everyone has a Diksha Guru. But there are actually all the Vaishnavas, pure Vaishnavas, they are naturally their gurus. Understand? Like Shripad Bhaktigyan Bharti Maharaj, Bhaktigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj, he said that I took mantra from so many gurus. And he wrote a book about it actually. In that book he said, what mantra which guru gave me? From Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, I learned that during Rath Yatra, someone was snatching his pocket. And he said, don't disturb me. I learned from him, money is not that significant. Then I learned from Bhakti Hriday Ban Maharaj something, from Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Maharaj something, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj something. So Srila Gurudev also says that I served so many disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Like not only my Diksha Guru, but also Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj and Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Maharaj. And I heard Harikatha from all these disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And that's why I know so much Tattva, he says, to say that, because I heard from them. That's why I am all over the world, I am able to preach, he said. And obviously Gurudev had tremendous nishtha for the lotus feet of his own Diksha Guru, no doubt about it. But he learned also many things from the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So all the Vaishnavas are like gurus. Today, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, I acquired the real knowledge of this material world. So basically, you have to be Vaishnavas acquaint us with the fearsome position we are in. And that is what Srila Gurudev used to do. Hearing Gurudev's lectures, you used to become scared sometimes because he used to speak in that way. One day you will have to become old, you will not be able to walk, your wife will reject you, your children will reject you. Like he was telling the reality, harsh reality. That time he was speaking with authority. And now, after Gurudev has disappeared, we are realizing what he said. Because now our body is becoming weaker. We are entering the slowly coming to the old age. And everyone is becoming older. Birthday should remind us that we are becoming older and older and older and coming closer to death. But Gurudev also always encouraged devotees not to worry so much about disease. Especially when he's talking to the terminally ill cancer patients, he should tell them, don't worry, this body of yours is suffering so much, but this suffering will be over very soon. You will get a body of a teenage boy or a teenage girl, and you will be very happy in that body and be able to do bhajan again. So don't be hopeless, don't be afraid of death like this. He used to console like that. Terminally ill patient, understand? Instead of prescribing them any medicine, he used to tell them that the change is inevitable. You will have to give up this body one day anyways. Today or tomorrow, but don't lament for it. Don't be attached to the body, but remember Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. Understand? Mm. And that is actually the happy state. We should living. I would prefer to leave the body being surrounded by devotees doing kirtan rather than in an ICU where I am just on the oxygen. I wouldn't prefer to do like that. Understand why? Because first of all, when you go to ICU, the first thing is give you oxygen. Now that itself is medically wrong. Because what I heard, there is one doctor, Vishwarupra Chaudhary, he actually says this, that um, what we breathe is actually air. We don't breathe oxygen. We breathe air. And then we have that air has some nitrogen, some hydrogen, some oxygen. So it is a combination of so many gases. But when we go to hospital, they just give you oxygen cylinder. They don't give you air. So basically that starts harming your lungs. That's what he says. Understand? And he says that there are so many people on life support, and those who went on ventilator, they success rate is very less on ventilator. And even if they survive, they are in vegetative state. They become like vegetables. So basically, modern modern medicine is not so hopeful actually. Sripad Bharati Maharaj also, Srila Bhakti Bharati Maharaj also. When he was performing his pastimes, last pastimes, then he told that, take me away from this hospital. Then they said that the devotees told that they will not discharge you. They tell them that our money is over. We have no money anymore to pay for your charges, room charges and medicine charges, doctor charges. Tell them like that. Lie to them, but take me away from here. Or you tell them that we have to go to some other hospital which is better than yours. So he was actually admitted in Fortis hospital, but he sought a discharge, immediate discharge. And he said, I'll take me to the Matha. And he said, tell them that we are going to a better hospital. And what is the best hospital? Than the temple of the Lord or the Matha, where the devotees are there. Understand? So anyways, Adhyavabde Shatabdeva Mrityarvai Praninam Dhruva. Today or after 100 years, we'll have to die. What to be done? So don't be worried about death. This is what Gurudev is telling. When the Vaishnavas present had heard Anandadas Babaji Mahashay's profound instructions, they all loudly exclaimed, Sadhu, Sadhu. By this time, many Vaishnavas had assembled there and they began to sing a bhajan that Lahari Mahashay had composed. Now, Lahari Mahashay is actually from Shantipur, born in Brahmin family. E ghor sansare padiya manav na paya dukkhera shesha. Sadhu sangha kari hari bhaje jadi, tabe antahaya klesha. Tabantahaya klesha, tabe antahaya klesha. Igora sansare padiya manava, na paya dukkhera shesha. The jiva who has fallen into this dreadful material existence finds no end to his distress. But his troubles come to an end when he is graced by the association of sadhus and then taken to the worship of Sri Hari. So actually, many times I see that, there are some YouTube also, many documentaries, people narrate the ordeals they went through in childhood, my troubled childhood, split family, single parent family, and then, then the challenges they faced at the workplace, and the discrimination in the society, these, that, then diseases, attack of diseases, severe accidents, this and that. People, for hours they speak about the challenges they faced in their life. But then they proudly tell that we have overcome these challenges, now we are very successful, financially. But they don't know that these challenges are not over. They have just stopped for some time. Again, they are going to come back. Again, we are going to face the same calamities next lifetime, next lifetime, next lifetime. It's endless. There is no limit to the calamities we are going to face. So there are no material solutions. Like Sripad Dandi Maharaj always tells that a two-dimensional problem cannot be solved in two dimensions. It should be solved in three dimensions. And three-dimensional problem cannot be solved in three dimensions. It should be solved in the fourth dimension. And I personally saw that actually. When I was in engineering, there was one first year of engineering, first semester of engineering, we had statics, and the second semester there was dynamics. So statics and dynamics are two parts of mechanics. Very basic subject, mechanics was there. And actually, I could not fare well I almost failed that exam, mechanics, because I was reading the books which were trying to solve the problems of statics using in two dimension. But then some American book I got, American author, and then they were solving the two-dimensional problem using three dimension, using vector analysis. And then I passed that exam with flying colors. So that time only I realized two-dimensional problem should be solved in third dimension. So any material problem has a spiritual solution only. Understand? Srila Gurudev was telling that if you put on Tulsi Mala around your neck, when Gurudev puts the Tulsi around your neck, then you become free from many, many types of problems. Understand? And you are not bewildered actually. There is some strength. There is some spiritual strength you have. You never become bewildered. Like I have seen that in Sripad Dandi Maharaj's character also. That he is never bewildered, he never loses hope, and he never becomes hopeless despite so many obstacles that may come. Like once we are coming to South Africa from, and we had a flight. Then on the road, the van we were in actually made a small accident. Some other van hit us on the side. But somehow we had to reach the airport. So we kept on driving. Fortunately, nothing happened to myself or Maharaj. Now we came to the airport, and then one devotee from America, Achyut Krishna Prabhu, had booked a ticket for myself and Maharaj. But he had booked using a credit card. And then at the airport, they asked me, they asked the Sripad Dandi Maharaj, what are the last four digits of the expiry date? So we don't know. Somehow I had some WhatsApp running, so I immediately sent message to him on WhatsApp, and then I got a reply, fortunately. Otherwise, they would not have let us board the plane to South Africa. Tickets would have been wasted. And then they started checking my papers. Why you are going to South Africa? What is the reason? This, that, Show me the invitation letter, this, that. So many challenges. Maharaj never became bewildered, actually. He always keeps his presence of mind. Srila Gurudev also. Gurudev said that so many challenges came to him. So many people actually opposed his traveling foreign countries. They said don't invite him, or those who invited him, then they tried to boycott them. Those who invited him or those who supported him. So like this they were doing. But Gurudev never became bewildered. And Gurudev told that those who are opposing me are my greatest advertisers. They are advertising me free of charge. So Gurudev was never bewildered. So when we come to the shelter of sadhu, we are not bewildered. Vishayanale jwaliche rudaya anale bade analo aparadha chadi laya Krishna nama anale padaye jala anale padaye jala anale padaye jala anale bade analo. The raging fire of sensual desires scorches his heart, and when he tries to satisfy those desires, the fire simply flares up with greater intensity. Now, this is Srila Gurudev always tells the story of Yayati Maharaj. Yayati Maharaj had a very pretty wife, Devayani, and he still was attracted to another princess, Sharmishta, Vrishabharma's daughter. Although under the contract of marriage, he was not supposed to marry or associate with any other woman, but still he somehow or the other he was attracted to Sharmishta, and as a result Devayani became very angry and she complained to her father Shukracharya. Shukracharya cursed Yati that he will become devoid of masculinity. He will not be a male. He'll become untimely old and he will not be able to enjoy sense gratification. But still he borrowed the youth of his own son, Puru Maharaj. Puru, the Princess Puru, Prince Puru. And then he started enjoying again with Devayani and Sharmishta. But that didn't satisfy his lust. Again he borrowed, second time. Third time he said, no, I'm not going to borrow. Then he relinquished his youth, gave it back to his son, and he said, let me go to the forest. So however, relinquishing offenses and chanting Shri Krishna acts like a cooling shower of rain. So basically, lust cannot satisfy, or sense objects cannot satisfy our senses anyways. So give up offenses. Start chanting Krishna Nam, and it will act like a cooling shower of rain. And it will extinguish this blazing fire. Nitai Chaitanya Charana Kamale Ashraya Laila Jai Kalidasa Bale Jimane Marane Amar Ashraya Se Amar Ashraya Se Amar Ashraya Se Ashraya Laila Jai. Kalidas says, who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Nitai is my refuge in life and in death. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very merciful. Yesterday's class, Madhurya Kadambini, we were discussing that how these offenses are great problems. Offenses are great problems. So offenses are great problems, and Krishna नाम करे अपराधीर विचार, नाम लेल अपराधीर न है विकार. बहु जन्म कर यदि श्रवण कीर्तन तबो तन पाए कृष्ण पदे प्रेम धन. When we were in ISKCON, New York, actually morning after the Mangalarti, after Tulsi Parikrama, then we used to sing this 10 offenses, and we used to sing this shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Basically in ISKCON, we were taught actually, after we had done Parikrama, we were chanting this prayer. Yani kani cha papani brahma hatyadikani cha tani tani prana shanti pradakshina pade pade I used to like that prayer a lot because very good tune, and then we used to sing Hare Krishna Mantra in the same tune. It was good experience. But then when I came to Gaudiya Math, that prayer was discouraged. So here, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, some devotee is asking him, Maharaj, also regarding Tulsi Devi, I noticed that at this math, while circumambulating Tulsi during her arti, here the devotees don't like to chant the mantra, Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahma Hatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Pranashyanti Pradakshina Pade Pade. Those who circumambulate Srimati Tulsi Devi step by step, destroy whatever sins they have committed, even the killing of a Brahmana. Why is this? So Sridhar Maharaj is answering, a devotee of higher order must not have any prayer to absolve me from sin. Understand? The first class devotee will pray, whatever I have done wrong, I am ready to suffer for that, to the farthing. But my prayer is only that I may get a drop of the nectar of the favor of Krishna. So it means that let me suffer for my sins, O Lord. But I don't mind suffering, but I want only one particle from your lotus feet. So devotee is not afraid of sins and the result of the sins, that is going to hellish planets. Swadhapavarga narkeshu tulyarth darshina. The devotee is that in separation of Krishna, even the heaven is hell. And if I am able to remember Krishna, then even hell is heaven. And actually, what is the better place? Just now that the womb of the mother is a terrible place, certain place, but actually it is very good place also. Because not even for a moment, you will be able to forget Krishna. Understand? Not even for a moment you will be able to forget Krishna. You will remember Krishna like anything. Understand? So, distressing sometimes acts. So, Tukaram Maharaj actually, great devotee. He actually, Marathi, he sang this particular bhajan. And Shri Rajendra Maharaj actually, excellent speaker of even Gurudev's time used to come to Rupa Goswami's festival. On television, he is very active. Rajendra Maharaj from Ramanacharya Sampradaya. He actually, he always sings this bhajan of Tukaram. Although Rajendra Maharaj, actually his mother tongue is Hindi, but he sings this bhajan of Tukaram. Some bhajans of Tukaram and Namdev, he very much likes. And that Tukaram Maharaj says that, oh Lord, let me not just forget you. Let me not forget you. I don't mind going to hell or staying in the womb of the mother, but hechi dana dega deva, hechi dana dega, tuza visarana bhava, tuza visarana bhava. Hechi dana dega deva, hechi dana dega deva, tuza visarana bhava, tuza visarana bhava. Guna gaina avadi hechi माझे सर्व जोडी लगे मुक्ती धन संपदा सतसंग देई सदा तुका म्हणे गर्भवासी सुखे घालावे आम्हासी सुखे घालावे आम्हासी सुखे घालावे आम्हासी. So he is telling, Lord, if you want to give me charity, Tukaram Maharaj is telling, then give me this charity, let me not forget you. Oh Lord, I should not forget you even for a moment. I will always glorify you, and this is my only wealth, your glorification. I don't want liberation. Now, this is what Mahaprabhu also prayed, and Tukaram Maharaj, who is follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is also praying like this. And then he is telling, I don't want liberation, wealth, prosperity. I don't want it. Only one prayer I have. Give me good association. Give me sadhu sangha. And if you give me sadhu sangha, then Lord, I don't mind even happily you can place me in the womb of the mother, which is the most deadliest place in the world. Put me in the womb of the mother, no harm. But of Vitthala, I don't want even liberation. Just give me one benediction. I will have association with sadhus, and I should not forget even for a moment. Hmm. Actually, Tukaram Maharaj, many bhajans, they are very full of purport, like Rupa Goswami and even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like we are talking about in Nectar of Devotion or Madhuri Kadambini, how the creeper of devotion rises. So basically, the creeper of devotion first will have two leaves, Kleshagni and Shubhada, all auspiciousness and all the removal of all the lamentation and distress. So like that, he is in Marathi language. He has sung so many bhajans actually. इवले से रूप लागिले द्वारी त्याचा वेलू गेला गगनावरी मोगरा फुलला मोगरा फुलला मोगरा फुलला मोगरा फुलला फुले चिताची बहरू कडियासी आला Mogara Fulala, Mogara Fulala. He is actually talking about how the creeper of devotion is growing. It will give flowers and even the fruit of the prema. So like that. So you'll see that here in Jaiva Dharma, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is actually explaining such nice siddhanta. So offenses are big obstacle, but दयाल निताई चैतन्य बोले नाच रे आमर चैंट दयाल निताई चैतन्य श्री भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर महाराज इसको से गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा गौर हरि बोल then later on at one point of time he started chanting dayal nitai because Nityananda Prabhu is very merciful even for the offenders. So like in ISKCON they may be chanting this prayer. Because in the beginning, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he said, okay, let them understand the importance of Tulsi Parikrama. Even for eradication of sin, let them do Parikrama. Later on, maybe I will tell them not to say it. So Gurudev came and told us, no need of singing this prayer because my prayer is only that I may get a drop of the nectar of the favor of Krishna. That should be the prayer of a real devotee. पशुपा की है था कि स्वर्गे वाणी रहे सब भक्ति is another wonderful bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Oh Lord, keep me in the species of an animal or a bird, no harm. Let me stay in the heaven or hell, but let bhakti be in my heart. According to my karma, I may be a bird, I may be a beast, I may be a worm or an insect. I may be in heaven or in hell. And I don't care about that. According to my own karma, let me suffer accordingly. So even a worm actually. Sripad Dandi Maharaj actually once showed me actually some picture and but there are so many types of worms. Actually, everywhere you see the worms are there. Actually, crawling worms. Like in my childhood, I remember we had very few Indian households had septic toilet where there was a septic tank and all the excreta is going to septic tank. But there was actually some rough type of toilets were there where just no, not septic toilets, but like kacha toilets. And we could see actually so many worms there in the stool and those and all. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling no harm. I may become an insect, but let me not be devoid of your bhakti. Let me have my bhakti. Let me not be devoid of the favor of Krishna. Let me get that. I want his grace. I want devotion for him. Only devotion. That is all I want. Whether I have to enjoy the result of my good works in heaven or I have to suffer for the misdeeds of my previous life and go to hell. I don't care to get out of that. As a result of my karma, I shall have to suffer or enjoy. But I don't care about that. My prayer is not to remove the reactions to my sins, to take away any good merit or bad result, but only that I may obtain pure devotion independent of these two. I do not want to release from either happiness or suffering. Let it be according to my previous karma. Rather, what I want from this moment on is that I will never try to waste the favor of Krishna by only praying to be able to face any eventuality. But that whatever I shall acquire from now on, however small, even a drop, that must be nectar of the highest order. And the lower delegation can deal with the question of heaven and hell. So I don't want to deal with this question of heaven and hell. But I want the nectar of the topmost nectar, even for a moment. For removing our reactions or delivering us from heaven or hell, such lower agents are required. They can do that. But we shall only pray for Krishna's favor as a positive attainment. And never try to minimize our previous karma, the result of bad activities performed due to this conception. I don't care about the passport. I want the visa. Now Sridhar is telling. I don't care about the passport. I want the visa. If I get the visa, no passport trouble will be able to disturb me. Like recently, Prince Charles, he was a Prince Charles, now he's the King Charles, because after the demise of his mother, Elizabeth, the Queen Elizabeth, he became the King of England. Now he is the person without passport. Means he can go to any country, he has no passport. There is a special law, and under that he has no passport. And without any passport, he can travel anywhere in the world. He just has no passport. Even the Prime Minister of India will have a diplomatic passport, but no, he has no passport. So Sridhar Maharaj is telling that I don't care about the passport, I want the visa. If I get the visa, no passport trouble will be able to disturb me. It is something like that. So to merely do away with Maya, misconception is nothing but the positive attainment in the domain of Krishna is a very much higher thing. By passing Maya, we can attain Viraja, Brahma Loka. We can get Mukti, the marginal position. But why should I waste my energy only to acquire a position in the marginal plane? All my attempts must be focused towards the prayer for a position in Golok, and that will be a gain of the highest, very highest order. I shall pray only for that, and automatically everything else will be accomplished. So if you want to ask Krishna who can give you anything, then why only ask him something which is halfway, not full way? Just to go to the border, just go to the border actually, don't ask like that. Like when I was in America, there were so many people, they used to try to enter America from Mexican border, understand? So, but their aim is to enter into America, get a job, and able to enjoy the economic prosperity of America. So basically, we want to go to Golok, not land in Viraja, the line of demarcation between the material world and the spiritual world. Liberation means you are stuck at the line of demarcation. Suppose you are for such a long period immigration checkpoint, then you will be bored there. You tell that either you reject my visa and send me to the material world, send me to the country I belong to, or accept my visa application and you send me to the country I am destined to go. But don't keep me at the line of demarcation. Understand? So, liberation means you are at the line of demarcation between the material world and spiritual world. Viraja river, where there is no mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Viraja. But that is not our aim. We want to go to cross the Viraja and go to the highest planet Golok. So Tulsi Devi can give us that. Tulsi Devi can give us that. Then why ask her, oh, eradication of sins? No, ask her, take me to Golok. So as the kirtan was going on, Chandidas danced in great ecstasy and he took the dust of the feet of Babaji's upon his head and began to roll on the ground, weeping in intense joy. Everyone declared, Chandidas is extremely fortunate. So, Sridhar is actually telling a story actually of Savitri. I don't know whether you have heard this story. There is a story from the Puranas which illustrates this principle. The story of Savitri and Satyavan. Savitri was a chaste lady who had acquired special capabilities through the performance of certain penances. And one day she went to the forest with her husband Satyavan, knowing that this day was the day of his death. She knew that today my husband is going to die. Understand? She knew that this was the day of her husband's death and he did not. But he did not know. And Satyavan didn't know that he is going to die, but his wife knew that he is going to die. While cutting the wood in the forest, Satyavan said, I have a headache. I need to take a nap. Savitri was prepared and Satyavan put his head on her lap and slept. And in his sleep, he died of heart failure. He had a massive heart attack and he died. And Yamaraj came to take him. First, Yamaraj agents came, but finding that Satyavan's body was on the lap of his very pure and chaste wife, they could not venture to take him. So you see the power of a chaste wife. Yamadutas, the messengers of death, could not come to pull the soul of Satyavan. They could not take out his subtle body because wife was keeping the head of the husband on her lap. So then Yamaraj himself came and told Savitri, you leave him, he is dead, leave his body. And Savitri said, yes, you may take him. Yamaraj took Satyavan's soul, but when he saw that Savitri, by dint of her penances, was closely following him in pursuance of her husband, Yamaraj said, oh, why are you coming? I am taking him, you must go back. Savitri replied, no, I can't. I shall go also. Yamaraj said, no, you must not come. Why are you disturbing my duty? This is the arrangement of the Creator, Lord Brahma, and you must obey that. Savitri replied, it is better to die than to live without my husband. Then Yamaraj said, all right, I will give you a boon. Accept that and be satisfied. Savitri asked that her father-in-law and mother-in-law, who were blind, would regain their sight. Yamaraj said, yes, they will regain their sight. But Savitri continued to follow him, saying, I am not yet satisfied completely. Then take another boon. Well, if you are pleased to offer another boon, my father-in-law and mother-in-law have lost their kingdom. So now please arrange for them to be reinstalled in their own kingdom. Yes, I say that they will get back their kingdom. But again Savitri began following him. And again you are coming? Yamaraj asked her. Yes, I can't live without the company of my husband. Take another boon. Yamaraj said, yes. What is that? I want 100 sons, Savitri told. She said, I want 100 sons. Yes, you shall have 100 sons. Still Savitri kept following behind Yamaraj. Now why are you coming? I told you you would have 100 sons. She replied, if you are taking my husband, then how can I get any sons? Then Yamaraj was perplexed. Yes, that's true. What can I do? Understand? So she appealed to the higher force. Savitri's boon was sanctioned and she got her husband back. Yamaraj had already committed himself. You will get 100 sons. So Savitri asserted that you have clearly sanctioned that I will get 100 sons. Therefore, you certainly can't take my husband. The general idea is that if we get some backing from the higher sphere, that will overrule all mandates imposed by the plane of mortality. So if we are given a place in Golok, we cannot be detained in this mundane world. Then Tulsi Devi can give us a place there, then why should we waste our prayer to her by asking, please clear away the dirt on which I am standing? That is self-deception. So we shall always pray to the higher servitors for the higher service of the Lord. We won't care about where we might be. That problem will automatically be solved. If we get some higher appointment in the divine realm, then automatically we can't be detained here. Therefore, a Shuddha Bhakta, a pure devotee, from the core of his heart, will never pray for anything else. for that would be a waste of energy. Only pure inclination toward the service of my eternal Lord that I want. I know nothing else but that. I do not want anything else. A pure devotee won't pray for anything but for the highest service of the Lord of his heart. He can't even imagine asking for anything for his or her own interest. In Christianity, such self-sacrifice is also present. And greater than that is self-forgetfulness. The self is there. But servitor is forgetful of that and is 100% absorbed in attending to the pleasure of the Lord. No self-interest. Whole self-forgetfulness. They are unconscious of their own particular interest because it has become merged in the interest of the Lord. The absolute whole. So this is called tadatmya. Your interest has merged in the interest of Bhagavan. So whatever is favorable for Bhagavan, it will become favorable for you because you have merged your interest with the interest of Bhagavan. So one who is aspiring to become a pure devotee should never desire anything but to purely serve and give joy to the Lord of his heart. When one is unconscious of everything else, let it be, whatever he may like. That is pure devotion for Tulsi or whomever we are praying to. If one has got that higher Sukruti, that Shuddha Bhakti, the seed of Prema Bhakti, then he won't be able to think of anything else but Krishna's pleasure. He will think only of the pleasure of his Lord, 100%, forgetting his own body, mind, everything. That is the purest type of prayer. Understand? So you see that if we can go to Golok Vrindavan, then why ask Tulsi that remove my problems in the material world or give me liberation from these problems? We are asking higher, lower thing. No, ask for the highest. Suppose you receive a letter in India from you are lodged in a Tihar jail in Delhi, and suddenly the president of India gives a letter. He should be not arrested. He should be released. What can the Supreme Court justice do, and what can the warden of the prison do? No one can restrain. No police officer. Your superintendent of police cannot restrain you if the president of India gives a letter of release, liberation. Understand? So when we get recommendation from Tulsi Devi that this person should be taken to Golok Vrindavan, what can Yamaraj do here and what can any other agent do to you? Understand? Because your visa for Golok is sanctioned. So why wait for passport to Viraja and all? Understand? Yeah, so Golok, straight you are going to Golok. Understand? So, basically, but Srila Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Maharaj actually is telling, he used to tell a story like about swans and cranes. Actually, very nice story is to tell. And very that actually there were some swans. They were flying to the. Actually, I just found it. A story. Although the question lacked intelligence and depth, Srila Gurudev endeavored to explain with the help of an example. He replied. So this actually a conversation is going on. In 1947, Srila Gurudev again visited Assam. He had gone there at the request of the householder devotee of Sri Gaudiya Math at Gwalpada, the headquarters of Gwalpada, Mahakuma, named Shriman Radha Mohan Das Adhikari. So Srila Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Maharaj, Guru was Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj. He had gone to Gwalpada, and one householder devotee by name Radha Mohan Das Adhikari invited him. Accompanying him on the journey were Srimad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, Srimad Udharan Brahmachari, Srimad Madhavananda Brajavasi, Srimad Ratharudha Das Brahmachari. Srila Gurudev and the other Vaishnavas stayed at the residence of Radha Mohan Prabhu. Religious meetings were organized at different sites throughout the city. Advocate Sir Shri Kshirodha Sen presided over a special session of Harisabha. The local government pleader, Shri Kamakhya Charan Sen, the pleader of Mechapada estate, Shri Priyakumar Goharai and other prominent citizens were also present. Shri Kamakhya Charan, the son of Shri Dhirendra Kumar Goharai, met Srila Gurudev for the first time at the residence of Srimad Radha Mohan Das Prabhu. Later he became Shri Krishna Vallabh Brahmachari and eventually Srimad Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj. Shri Kamakhya Charan and his friend Devavrat Ravi approached Srila Gurudev with many philosophical queries. When Shri Kamakhya Charan paid obeisances to Srila Gurudev, who was seated on his bed, he shuddered, experiencing the electrifying effect of the showering of his blessings. Shri Kamakhya Charan asked repeatedly, chanting the name of Hari, I often have the feeling that soon I will obtain darshan of Bhagwan. But as soon as the thought of arises that I will leave my loved ones, I become afraid and I cease chanting. By what method can I continue to chant at such moments? So here, Shri Kamakhya Charan is asking this question. So Kamakhya Charan means Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj. He is asking this question to his Gurudev. He is not initiated, he is meeting his Gurudev first time. When I chant the holy name, a feeling comes that I will obtain darshan of Bhagwan. But as soon as this thought comes in my heart, I think that if I have darshan of Bhagwan, I will have to give up my loved ones, my relatives. So I became afraid and I stopped chanting. So how can I continue to chant at such moments? He's asking. That many times happens to us also. When we are chanting, some thought comes. Oh, this will happen to me, that will happen to me. I will be separated from my relatives. I will lose my house, my job, or nothing like that. Some fear like this comes. Many times happens to many devotees. Understand? And then they stop chanting because they feel that if they keep on chanting, they will lose this or lose that. So, although the question lacked intelligence and depth, Srila Gurudev endeavored to explain with the help of an example. He replied, some ducks were swimming in a pond which was foul and stagnant. With great glee, they were living by eating snails, worms, prawns, etc. There are plenty of ponds, you'll see many snails are there, crawling and worms and prawns. In that petri environment, one day they saw their cousins flying overhead in the azure sky. They were, in all respects, from feather to size, very beautiful. The ducks on the pond reasoned that the handsome appearance of their cousins was due to the fact that where their cousins soared was a better place than their own pond. Means they saw some swans who were like their cousins. So then they felt sorry for themselves, thinking that if they could only go to that place, they too could become as attractive as their cousins. However, the birds in the sky were actually swans who were returning to Manas Sarovar from the sea. Seeing the forlorn expression of the ducks, one of the swans felt pity for them and circled downwards. The ducks were filled with a sense of awe upon seeing that this majestic creature more closely. They prayed to be taken to the swan's abode. The swan said, it was for this very reason that he had descended from above to take the ducks away from that unhealthy, foul place. The ducks, however, replied that they did not possess the strength to fly far and high. Full of compassion, the swan suggested to the ducks that they climb onto his back. Upon hearing this, the ducks conferred with one another and then asked the swan whether or not they would find snails and worms in their new place of residence. So these ducks were given an offer, free flight to Manas Sarovar, without any ticket or anything. They could simply climb on the back of their cousins, swans, and they could just fly to Manas Sarovar, very pleasant place in Himalayas. But they are asking, when we go to Manas Sarovar, will we get snails and worms to eat? So they were so attached to snails and worms. Understand? The swan replied that such low creatures are not to be found in the Himalayan Manas Sarovar. In that place, they live by eating the lotus flower. Speaking in chorus, the ducks wanted to know how they would therefore survive there. So ducks were telling that we cannot survive by eating the stems of lotuses or petals of lotuses. We want our snails. We want our worms and prawns. These are foul foodstuffs. Understand? It was the petty attractions of the pond that held the ducks back. So unanimously they decided not to go because they would not get worms there. Analogously, it is the external gross creations of Maya and its attractions that act as barriers to our living this mundane world. Shri Bhagwan, uncontaminated by material attributes, is ever blissful at any place. He is present, becomes pure and sanctified. There is nothing in the place where he resides that is foul or temporary. Those who cling to the creations and manifestations of Maya can never reach the true creator. Bhagwan and Maya are polar opposites. Man cannot become free from base desires without the help of sadhus. Tato dussanga satsu sajjeta buddhiman sante vasa chinnanti mano vyasangam uktivi. The wise avoid the wicked and seek the holy. One who is holy, offering holy advice, cuts asunder the desires that create obstructions in one's spiritual life. The Srimad Radha Mohan Prabhu had taken Diksha initiation from Srila Prabhupada. As Sri Radha Mohan Brahmachari, he had resided in the mud for a period of time. When he became a householder, he took the name Srimad Radha Mohan Adhikari. So you'll see that very nice answer is given here. So after some time, Yadavdas said, "Let us go to Chandidas. We need to go to the other side of the river. Let us go, Chandidas. We need to go to the other side of the river." Chandidas replied, smiling, "If you take me across the river of material existence, I will go." The two of them offered Dandat Pranam to Pradyumna Kunja and departed. So remembering crossing of the river, one time Lord Ram went to the forest and he had to cross Ganges river. So there was one tribal king and he arranged for a boatman for Sri Ramchandra, Sita and Lakshman. He said, "This boatman will take you across the river of Ganga." So he took Ram across the Ganga in a boat. Then Ram told Sita that, let's give some of your ornaments as a charity to this boatman because we have no money to pay to him. You must give some remuneration. You must give some money to the boatman. But no money is there, so give one of your ornaments, maybe necklace, earring, or anything, bangle. So Sita was about to remove her ornaments to give as charity to pay the wages of the boatman, actually, these fees, understand. But the boatman said no. He said, we don't take price or money from those who engage in the same profession. Since you are also a boatman, he told Ram, and I am also boatman. And Ram said, "Well, I am a Kshatriya king, I am not a boatman." He said, "Yes, you are also boatman. Because you take the people across the ocean of birth and death in your boat of your holy name. You are a boatman. And I take people across in my wooden boat across the Ganges. So we are boatman, you are boatman, I am boatman. So one boatman will not take the fee from another boatman." But he said, "I will take something from you. Just like I help you cross the Ganges river. When I come to the shore of ocean of birth and death, that time you also help me cross the shore of ocean of birth and death and take me to your eternal abode of Ayodhya in Vaikuntha." Ram smilingly said, "Yes." He said, "No problem. Understand? Not only you, but all your forefathers will also be delivered because of this humble service you have done to me." So, Gurudev, Bhagwan, they are the boatmen to help us cross the ocean. So the two of them offered Dandat Pranam to Pradyumna Kunja and departed. As they came out of the Kunja, they saw Damayanti offering repeated obeisances, saying, "Alas, why did I take birth as a woman? If I had taken birth as a man, I could easily have entered this Kunja, taken darshan of the great souls, and become purified by taking their foot dust on my head. May I simply become the servitor of the Vishnus of Shivati, birth and birth after birth, and spend my days in their service." So here Damayanti, the wife of Chandidas, that lady, she is lamenting, "Why I took birth as a woman, because I could not come in the Kunja to meet the Babajis. Like many Matajis also used to lament, oh, we could not go with morning walk to Gurudev because Gurudev would not allow any Matajis to come for morning walk. If we were Prabhus, we could have gone with Gurudev to attend the morning walk. Because Srila Gurudev used to tell that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's mood is different. He would not go with women to the morning walks. Otherwise, people will criticize sannyasis. Actually, Srila Gurudev never saw any distinction between men and women. He always was equal to them, equally loving. Sometimes loving his female disciples more than his male disciples, he told. Because he said, as a father, I love my daughters more than my sons. All my daughters are more dear to me than my sons. Understand? But still, keeping the propriety of sannyas dharma, he never used to take mata. So here Damayanti is lamenting, alas, alas. If I was in male body, I could have come inside the kunja and taking the foot dust of these Vishnuvas. So Yadav said, this Godrum Dham is a perfectly sacred place. Simply by coming here, one obtains Shuddha Bhakti. Godrum is a covered village, the place where Shachinandan, the Lord of our life, enacts his divine pastimes. Hare Krishna. So, very nice verse from Prabhupada Saraswati, and we'll discuss that in the next class. So, Anangman Prabhu and all devotees note page number 153 and that verse of Prabhupada Saraswati. We're stopping there. If anyone has any questions or comments, please ask. It's late. Today was also solar eclipse. So, in India, it was visible. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatra Vishnu Kruvasindhi Vachapatana Pani Vishnu Vinamadu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for that beautiful class. Sorry, Maharaj, what page you stop at today? Sorry, Maharaj, the page you stopped at today?
Yeah, we can stop it now. If you have any comments or questions, please ask. We stopped at the verse of Prabhupada Saraswati Path because page number 153, the verse of Prabhupada Saraswati Path will be here next time. Loka vedo dhirtamarga vedair avishya sankrishate mudha hatena sarvam padvrutta gaude shri gotrame parnakotim purtvam. O fools, although you have taken shelter of worldly society and the Vedas and adopted many social and religious duties, you remain miserable. Now give up these dubious paths and quickly build yourself a leaf hut in Godru. So Godru is the place of Kirtan. As we heard, you must have heard from Sripad Dandi Maharaj also that there are 9 limbs of devotional service, and one of the most important limbs of devotional service is Kirtan. And Godrum represents the Kirtan limb of devotional service, which is one of the most important limbs. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to do bhajan at Godrumadri. Bhajan Kuti is still there. So here he's telling that give up worldly societies and mundane aspects of the Vedas also, Karma Kanda and other aspects, Gyan Kanda, and just build a bhajan kutir at Shri Godramadip and do bhajan there, because there is no consideration of offense there. So, Aradhitam Navvanam Vrajakanaste, Naradhitam Navvanam Vrajaiva Dure, Aradhito Justa Vrajanagaraste, Naradhito Justana Taveha Krishna. Without worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you cannot get the mercy of Radha Krishna. Without worshipping Shri Navadip Dham, you cannot get the mercy of Vrindavan Dham. So you must take shelter of Navadip Dham and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the instruction of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare
Krishna. Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Ranga Mohan Prabhu, do you want it, please? Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग गंधर्विका गिरिधारी राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद भक्तिवेदांत विष्णु देती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद भक्तिवेदांत दंडी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शत शिष्य मत भक्ति विनंत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शत शिष्य मत भक्ति विनंत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शत शिष्य मत भक्ति विनंत स्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शत शिष्य मत भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णु पाद स्तोत्र शत शिष्य भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट परम भगवत प्रवासी श्री गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री गौरी वेदांत श्री बलदेव विद्याभूषण प्रभु की जय। श्री विष्णु चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामनाथ प्रभु त्राय की जय। श्री कृष्ण सविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री रूप सनातन बात रघुनाथ जीव गोपाल बात दास रघुनाथ सत गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय राम श्री गौर प्रसाद विन्नी की जय। नामचार्य श्री राधा ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम सुखो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव शक्ति गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। चंद्रद्वीप मायापुर सीमा द्वीप गोद्रुम द्वीप मध्य द्वीप कोला द्वीप ऋतु द्वीप जानु द्वीप मोद्रा ध्रुव द्वीप रुद्र पद्म काशी नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपाल गोपी गो गोवर्धन द्वादश वनत्म काशी ब्रजमंडल की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंगा यमुना तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माय की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र सुदर्शन चक्र जीव की जय। क्षेत्र मंदिर की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशकारी श्री नरसिंहदेव की जय। भक्त प्रवास श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। चार धाम की जय। चार संप्रदाय की जय। चार आचार्य की जय। अकर महाराज श्री चैतन्य महाराज की जय। श्री केशव जी गौरी मठ ओत सकमत समा की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की जय। श्री नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री जयधाम की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। सामगाट भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री नित्य गौर प्रेम हरि हरि बोल।
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। जय हो हनुमान प्रभु की जय। हरे कृष्ण। दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण।
Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Daivata Mj. Dandavad pranams. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. We'll see you all tomorrow for Sripad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj's class at 12:30. And we'll see Vishnu Daivata Maharaj again on Friday for Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Dandavad pranams.
Thank you, Hare
Kripasuni Bheva Chapati. Namo Vaishnavi Namo Vaishnavi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.